do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Staying up when I go out, you gotta know I'm all yours. But when I say what's that about, you start slurring your words. Tell me why you have to seem so distant when I'm holding you. Your fingertips are drifting away, and I fucking love how it hurts. Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I love the way you always leave me? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? Why do I, baby, why do I? Why do I, baby, why do I? Why do I, baby, why do I love the touch but never love the feeling? waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
And we are live. It's good to be here. And today we have found some guests to our stream. On the top right corner, you have the father of Myllyenglis, Mr. Arttu Hämäläinen.
Yes, indeedio. Should I say something about myself now?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Please.
So, for the people that don't know me, Arttu Olvari Hämäläinen is my name, and I'm 33 years old, coming from Jyväskylä, Finland, and I'm a professional sports and esports caster. So that's basically it in a nutshell.
Yes. In the bottom right corner, we have a homeless guy.
Hey, is this like a boxing match or something?
Homeless looking guy, Mr. Tomi Pitkänen, a good friend of mine.
Hello. Yes, I'm Tomi from Helsinki, 26 years old, and doing esports casting also for my job, and also some social media and tournament operations and everything with esports.
So before, well, it was last week when we started talking about this thing, and
Yeah.
and we actually got this happened, and we made a deal that we start with a beer. So, gentlemen,
Start your engine.
I'm sad to say that I have only Nokko
so
here, but
cheers.
I have so much things to do today. So.
Well, Teemu also
Cheers.
has something that tastes like water, so it's all.
Mm. Nothing like a beer on a Tuesday morning.
Wow,
It's
this
Cardinal.
tastes so good. I've been without beer so many weeks, so this tastes so good.
It
So
does.
this is
I'm not sure, Teemu, if the bigger issue is that you're having beer at this time, or you actually think that 12 p.m. is morning. But
Well,
I don't know what's worse.
yeah, the combination is pretty, telling. But
Scary.
well, Janne, we have to remember that 2 weeks ago on a Wednesday you thought it's Monday.
well, I'm not saying I'm much better myself. I'm just stating the facts.
Okay.
Every possibility to throw somebody under the bus, so you have to take
use it.
Hey, when it's Teemu, I'll take it any day.
Like the great old Wayne Gretzky once said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So
Indeed.
when there's an empty net, you have to score. To get to the point, we have two Counter-Strike casters now in the house, so it's definitely an aspect that we're going to be looking at today. But what I'm interested about is you guys as personalities, as characters. How did you end up to where you're now? Like, I know Arttu, use Arttu, like go really international here, Arttu. Arttu, you started with traditional sports, and you've been casting like Finnish hockey league, SM Liga, for quite a while. What was your transition from traditional sports to esports? I know that you're still doing both, but kind of how did it happen?
It happened actually as a crazy idea. There was a league going on in Dota 2. It was named Taurora in Finland, and I was watching the games, and nobody was casting those games. So it was a crazy idea. I contacted the guys behind the tournament and asked them. So honestly, that can I try to cast these games, and it was a crazy idea, and I did a few of the games, and after that I met Benjamin Nota Läärä. So he is the godfather of Dota 2 here in Finland, and he is also Pelaajat.com shit producer, as somebody might recognize, paskatuottaja, shit producer, and he's actually working with Pelaajat.com now. But it's a few years back then. I met him in Kuokkala Ghetto here in Jyväskylä, and we had a coffee and got an idea that we should cast Epicenter Dota 2. Which was held in Moscow then, and we did it. And after that, I have been casting mostly Dota 2 then, but now for the past what can I say, year, I have been doing mostly CS:GO.
So it was kind of, because was it like, did you feel like it was an easy transition from traditional sports to esports? I mean, you had the caster experience beforehand, but what were the biggest difficulties when you did the change, and when you did your first esports castings? What was the kind of like the moment you're like, holy shit, like am I actually doing this now?
That is a good question, because of course it's I think it's a little bit easier if you have done professional casting before you go to esports. Of course it helps because you have manners and stuff like that. You know how to make the preparations for easy for every cast. But the most difficult part was how to use my voice. When should I keep my voice down, and when should I yell, and when should I be quiet?
So the answer was yell all the time, right?
Yeah, but I think that was the most difficult part, and also making a transition from Dota 2 to CS:GO. It didn't happen as this. It was quite hard, because of course it's a different game with different intensity and stuff like that. So it wasn't so easy, but you learn by doing it. So that is my principle.
Yeah, it's good. Then on the other hand, we have Tomi. I mean, a brief history between me and him. We met 4 or 5 years ago, under when there was this Good Game Squad under the Helsinki City Youth Department, an esports project, where Tomi was one of the players in one of our CS:GO teams, and then he kind of switched into more of a kind of big brother role. You did some casting at the time at Assembly, actually, with some of the team management people, and I remember that. So your transition went from at first you wanted to be a player, then you realized that you don't have what it takes on the server, so you decided to cast. Was it something like this?
Yeah, that's actually true, and that is the story what I love to tell, that I'm so bad to play, so I will try to something else, and done my first cast in Jokelan in Tuusula, actually in 2015, and then it was like, yeah, that was fun, and started to do that sometimes. And then back to 2018, we built up the Weakest Fin project, which still keep running, and same time ENCE start to show them up and getting some trophies. So we got a first cast in Yle in July of 18. So after that, it's just going to be Half-Life.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do like a bounce ball here, because both of you are amongst the biggest esports casters in the Finland. It's safe to say that when it comes to Counter-Strike, you are probably in the top 3, both of you. When it comes to Dota, there's very little competition in Finnish casters, so Arttu is up there, even though you haven't casted it for a while. Often you are asked about your kind of own, what's your favorite highlight, but what is your favorite highlight from, so Tomi from Arttu's casting and Arttu from Tomi's casting? You've seen each other's like these big games and big moments. What is something that you remember?
This is easy for me. Everyone remember, was it like in Katowice Major, when Arttu just screaming like, "Vittu ammu kohti!" So everyone knows that clip. So that is easy.
It's really funny. I just saw that like 15 minutes ago because I had to like remind myself how fucking awesome
Yeah.
those costumes
But everyone remembers that.
were.
That's I want to say Arctic Invitational. That actually was the the best cast from Tomi as I remember. But there are so many casts that you have been in doing for Elisa. So it's a
Yeah,
difficult thing.
actually, I try to remember every tournament from last year, which I done, and it's impossible.
Yeah, I understand. But well, Katowice Major, it was actually funny. It was the first big one for me. So I haven't done so many CS:GO casts before, and then we started to think that we should do Katowice and follow the road of ENCE from the bottom to the top, and we wanted some attention. That's why the casts were what they were, but. I think it was a success. It was very fun.
Well, I mean, don't put tällaista vittu saatana. There's quite a few, like, if CSGO had voice lines, like half of them would be from those Mylly English cast sessions, because they were insane. I know I gave you some critical feedback on the amount of swear words, and I remember you agreed at the time that, like, afterwards when you listened it, you were yourself like, holy shit, like, that's a load. Like, that's a heavy fucking load. But at the same time, holy shit, what a concept. I mean, you had an insane amount of viewers for being a Finnish community cast, right? Like, we're saying 15,000 people. It's insane. Like, that's a really heavy number.
And we had viewers from around the globe. So we had viewers from New Zealand, San Francisco, South Africa. So everybody was, they just wanted to take a look what a crazy man is casting there in a language that isn't even a language. It was actually, it started as a joke because when the story behind the Mylly English is that first of all we wanted to cast the tournament in Finnish, of course. And the information we got was that it is possible to do it in Finnish. But actually, our channel got banned. And after that, we needed to, of course, think that what are we going to do now? Because it's clear that we cannot do it in Finnish. And we had a talk with our chief producer, Notahax, and he actually told that we should do it in English. And I said, I remember what I said. That don't talk bullshit, because there's no way I can cast in English, understandably, because it's not my native language, as you might hear now. But well, we actually thought after that we should do it as a statement for the situation that nobody knows how can you cast and what language can you cast, and it was actually floating around because the international was going on at the same time, and Valve didn't put any focus on the situation. They just banned our channel, and we had to think it through, and it started as a joke. We decided to do it in Mylly English, so it was a good mix of Finnish and English, and actually in HLTV where we have a flag telling that what language is the stream. So first we had Finnish flag, of course. Then it's changed to English flag, and after that we actually heard that you cannot keep the English flag because it's not English. So we had an EU flag after that, and it was a flag of Mylly English.
That's a
Very nice.
beautiful story. But so no question. Are we going to see Mylly English 2.0?
I hope so. We will see it in future, because nobody knows what's ahead of us, and Of course, the situation is now that the big tournaments, majors, ESL, and of course Blast Pro as well. We don't have the casting rights for them and in Finnish or English. But let's see. It started as a joke, and apparently it was fun enough for our viewers. So I hope we will go into see Mylly English 2.0.
Well, you
I-
should try to push that it's the official language.
Well, we will see. We will see.
I think. Well, to be fair, I mean, Finns as a nation, we are stubborn. We hate to speak with people. We like to stick to ourselves. But when there's a really good bad joke on the line, we go to the limit. So I would assume that in this case there is a possibility to force something such as Mylly English to become a legal casting language.
Nobody knows. And talking about bad jokes, the bad jokes are the main line of our casts. It has been and will be in the future. And of course, in Mylly English cast, we had a lot of bad jokes. We sung Barbie Girl in a live cast during
I saw that,
during
unfortunately.
the halftime, and it was something so terrible. But apparently, it was fun and stuff like that. It was a very fun week, to say the
Well,
least.
It's funny actually. The first time I saw you was in Katowice, and it was Teemu recommended me first of all, so you can thank him. But I think it's it's a lot of swear words. It was all this right, but it also gets you really excited in the game, and I really think it goes for many people, same as me. Like we are very used to the normal casting style, and it's all the same always. Sure, some do better, some do worse, but it's kind of it's a breath of fresh air, to have somebody doing something else, and it really brought, at least to me, a lot of excitement, and it made the games a lot of fun. So I'm not sure if I would watch, something like that every single time, but it's fun to see something different, like as much as I think there has been some other things in Dota 2 and CS:GO that are different from the normal, and that's always fun, and truly enjoy those streams. So that's for sure.
Yeah, and the Katowice Major, it was actually our first big stream, and we decided that we wanted as much attention as possible. That's why we used so many swear words. It has been
Sure.
a little bit, chillier later on, but it was definitely fun, and looks like people liked it.
Yeah, definitely. So then, Tomi, I'm gonna go a bit back in time to when you started kind of your casting career and with Weakest Finn and everything.
Yep.
It's safe to say that Weakest Finn was and still is one of the kind of the driving forces of Finnish esports casting. I mean, you were the first ones to kind of do it in a big stage kind of style, that you actually spent a lot of time to prepare for the broadcast. The broadcast value was very good, and you made it look professional. You gave Finnish Counter-Strike a professional feel. How, like, what have been the biggest things for yourself personally that you've learned along the journey with Weakest Finn, and what you've been able to achieve throughout these years?
I have learned that I should give some time for myself because I like to do this, and I work hard every day. So, but yeah, it have been that during 2 years now. So I will try to learn every day to get some spare time for me also. But yeah, you should do what you love.
I agree.
That's a very Finnish answer, but I like
Yeah,
it.
it is. But yeah, like a year ago, I was close to burn out myself, but my old employees just saw me that and put me at home. So I appreciate that.
Well, that's really good. Because
It was like I done 8 hours job and then go to home and cast games like 6 hours. So it was crazy, but what more I think it was worth.
Yeah. Obviously, like there comes a time when you want to push yourself, and you burn the candle from the both ends, so to speak.
Yeah.
But then comes a time when you need to rest and take better care of yourself too. I mean, I've had a bit of a wake up call on that subject too myself, which actually, like the moment when you actually start giving shit about yourself, and you try to ensure that you sleep well, you exercise, you eat better, you're more productive and the quality of your work is better. So, I mean, it's very good to hear that you've found that. Cheers.
Cheers to that. Yeah.
I was actually just about to say, there's all these nice words and being positive. That is like, yeah, we're drinking beer on a Tuesday, 12 p.m. But yeah,
Well, that's typical in Finland. But yeah, we
Yeah.
got a lot of hours for Biggest Finland, trying to look professional, and there was a space for us because like Jaakko Paalovaila stream it, who done it earlier, have been so quiet last years. So we saw that potential what could be there, and it sucks.
All right. Then,
And I have to say, sorry about
of course,
the
please.
interrupting, but of course the effort that Tomi and Vikast have done for Finnish esports is enormous. I have to say that talking about professional casting and looking the broadcasts seem like professional broadcasts, it's the effort is very big.
Yeah.
And still, it was just me in the home and my PC, so it was kind of funny.
And this is kind of like one of the things I love about Finnish people is the humbleness. We are praising Tomi here, like he is the godfather of Finnish CS:GO casting, like all the great things, and he says, "Yes, it was me in my bedroom with my PC." He doesn't even say thank you because it feels like too much. But
Yeah.
that's Finnish humbleness in a nutshell. So, should we start talking about the game itself? We have some good stuff coming in Finland. Well, it could have been one of the biggest, but obviously now it's going to be played online. We have Elisa Invitational, a Blast Pro qualifier tournament.
It is still biggest, even though it's online. So
Yeah, it's online, but as in like there's no crowd present, whatnot.
yeah.
We have 8 teams. We have ENCE North, Dignitas, Nudavind, KOVA Esports, Heroic, GODSENT and Apex. And we have one of the casters, social media guys all around, Chimpanzee, Mr. Tomi Pitkänen in the stream to give us an overview what to expect from this tournament.
Yeah, we're gonna have some good games here. I'm loved to see those old teams which we got there. It wasn't easy because there is also that Road to Rio ongoing same time. So we have a lot of talks, schedules, and etc. with the teams and ECL, but we nailed everything. I love to give thanks to Blast who helped us without that, and I can't wait to see what Thursday gives to us. Ends with the Jamppi first time. Wow,
That's awesome.
That's gonna be awesome.
I want to touch that ends with Jamppi a little bit. Now, we saw that Astralis signed S3 Tag earlier to kind of form the first 6-man lineup in the Tier 1 scene. Well, it's safe to say that it's still the first Tier 1 lineup. It's still the only 6-man lineup in Tier 1 scene. Unfortunately, ENCE is not there at the moment. But
What do you mean? They won against Fnatic. They are number 1 in the world, so technically
Yeah.
ENCE is number 1.
right. How about that?
I mean, technically.
Easy math.
Easy math, yes. So, to me, something is not right. The fact that Jamppi takes X7 spot and Allu stays as main upper, to me, it doesn't strike as a good idea. We talked about a little bit this with Janne on earlier streams that we've seen what happens when you take a main upper and give him a rifle. It's not the same thing. And to me, using Jamppi and giving him a rifle, it seems like a strange move. And because Arttu and Tomi, you're both very much following very closely Finnish Counter-Strike, I would like to hear what you have to say on this, because it seems strange.
It seems strange, but well, the results are going to speak for themselves. I think the fact that a young guy like Jamppi, who is a very, very, very honest, very humble young guy in a Finnish scene, one of the biggest rising stars here in Finland. It's a good thing that he is going to get an opportunity in a big team. It's obvious, but well, giving him a rifle, that sounds really strange, as you said. But I think that's a sign that ENCE is going to play double boss as many rounds as possible. That's
Double boss.
yeah.
For sure.
That's a sign of that. I think that they are going to play two ops as many rounds as possible.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know, should they... Oh, sorry. I don't
No,
know.
no worries. Continue.
I don't know, should they try something like what made in Brazil doing at the moment? They have fallen and go in G or something like that. How to spell it? I don't know. But
KNG,
there's
yeah.
so much double up. Also on T side, which is kind of funny to see. And on the CT side, it's so brutal shit. They destroy everyone. So it's funny to see how much they play the double up actually. And if there is some feelings that Allu don't hit shots with AWP, is that Jamppi then main AWPing, and there is so much
Yeah.
opportunities to use. So let's see. And as Arttu said, let the results talk first.
Yeah, and actually that's a good point, because when if Allo is having a bad day, you have an option, and a very good option, actually.
Yeah.
So Jamppi, who is very good with ops, so
No.
it gives us for ENCE.
Yeah.
I say us, but I mean ENCE.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, it gives ENCE a good option for another op.
Yeah, for me, it's like we have discussed this way too much with them already on the podcast as well. So I think, even though it's a little bit weird or doesn't make sense, on paper, it's still, if you have the chance to bring in a guy as good as Jamppi, you'll just do it because the guy is amazing. Then all of the Valve thing and cheating accusations or whatever, if we leave that aside, I still think it's a great sign for ENCE either way because he's an amazing player. And I think Allu has always, he has had times in his career when he played rifle, and they can go to that. Or also, I think Allu has been really, really good lately with the op. So let's maybe ride it out and see how it goes. But it's good to have options, even though this, the move itself is a little bit weird if you look, purely on paper like that, right? But still bringing in Jamppi is probably the biggest talent from Finland ever, or would you agree? I don't see anybody else who I can call on that level, right?
I agree, and actually, one point is that I did some speculations in Twitter earlier that maybe, just maybe, ENCE has some information about those Valve bans that we don't have.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Getting Jamppi unbanned, maybe.
That's actually like when the news first came out, or the rumors about ENCE probably signing Jamppi. We were talking about it on this podcast with Janne, and one of the things we emphasized at the time that ENCE might know something that we don't, because and just to clarify, I'm in the same boat. I think signing Jamppi is a good move. Being able to sign a kid as talented as him is obviously a good move. Like what I'm speculating is how he's gonna fit in the roster, like who is the correct player to replace and whatnot. But it seems that maybe the contract with Jamppi is kind of cheap for ENCE. Like they have a smaller contract, and maybe the move is because ENCE is a bigger organization than SJ Gaming, and ENCE has been in the tier 1 and majors and whatnot, and the team might have more leverage on Valve than SJ Gaming. So maybe the move is that ENCE is trying to force it through to get a decision, and without knowing much beforehand. But you can only imagine what kind of ties NATO has, for example. So it might be it's certainly at least helpful for Jamppi's case, even if they don't know something that we don't.
Yeah,
As
it's a
far I
big
know,
question
they
mark.
try to push it through the CSPAA. What is the player association?
Yeah.
So that's the point why ENCE could do that. They can't go straight to Valve and want to answers.
All right. Then looking at Elisa Invitational, we have two groups. Group A, we have Apex, Dignitas, ENCE and GODSENT, and in Group B, we have Heroic, KOVA Esports, Nudawind, and North. How do you think these groups are going to play out? Who are going to go through? Who's going to get eliminated? Any favorites, dark horses, whatnot?
Well,
That's
the format is funny actually that the 3 teams go and only one get eliminated in the group stage.
Yeah.
Yep.
And my PC getting exploding seems like at the moment.
But this is very-
we will try to leave.
I've been lagging a bit, but so all the matches are best of 1 as well in the group stage, right?
Yeah.
In group stage.
That's very interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
the thing with BO1s is that anything can happen. Like we saw during Home Sweet Home, North losing, Big losing to some rank 110 team and like complete no-namers and things like this. But so in Group A, where we have Apex, Dignitas, ENCE, and GODSENT, it's kind of safe to say that Apex should be the team that won't be in the playoffs. I would
Maybe, but I honestly think they are not that bad, especially in the best of 1 format. I give them some chances. They also actually just acquired Dennis, by the way. The old
They
medic.
bring the Dennis in for Elisa Invitational, which is kind of funny thing, and I can't wait to see Dennis again on the stage. So there could be actually potential to upset those matches, and Dignitas have been so slow start again with the Hauserk because they played with the Guardian in Flashpoint. So that Group A is gonna be so hard to say what's going to happen. That Group B should be easier to predict.
Yeah, and of course, when you play best of ones, anything can happen. Anything can happen. You can ban 3 maps against a team that probably has 3 good maps. So it gives you a lot of opportunities to make some upsets. But when you look at the group, I think Apex shouldn't have so much possibilities to to go through the playoffs. But as said, anything can happen. But Group B, #KOVA.
Yeah, it's I can't wait to see what KOVA can brings to Elisa Invitational. They qualified from our league there, so it's kind of funny to see they have some bad games under, like lost in versus Veto in Telia Esports series earlier in best of 1, and so, but they have a chance to surprise us and bring Finland to world map again.
Yeah, I hope so.
Interesting take about the Group B is Nudawind. We followed them for 2 weeks in Home Sweet Home, and they've been surprisingly consistent.
I would say surprisingly average. They had a bad first week, pretty decent second week, but I still think in this group, the 2 Danish teams should be by far the best ones out.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
But yes.
Or you like the Nudawind boys that much?
No. But I said
Yeah,
Nudawind. I think they still played against teams that are better than them, and they were able to challenge them on some level.
They have a lot of individuals here, like Nato Safix,
Yeah.
Tent, Roman. There's a lot of firepower and potential. So
yeah. So I do think that Nudawind is a team that can cause some upsets. And Nato Safix, Croman used to play with was he in FaZe Clan for a bit?
he was basically standing in for FaZe, yes.
Yeah, and he was standing in for quite a long time, if I remember correctly. And he was playing really well at the time.
Yeah, he did fairly well. Like, honestly, he probably surprised a lot of people. He did well. I still think, talking about this group, though, I guess at least Nudawind should go through, because 3 out of 4 go through, so looks pretty decent for them.
Yeah.
That is
I
the
think the,
funny
mo-
thing. because
I
that's
think the
so
most
hard to
interesting
predict.
most interesting game for Finnish viewers will be KOVA versus Nordavind because it is the the team that KOVA is most likely going to win because games against Heroic and North they are going to be so difficult. So I think if KOVA is going to surprise us, it is going to be against Nordavind.
It's safe to say that Mr. Perspiratoris Vikset should väpättää if KOVA wants to go through from this group.
Yeah, and maybe he should eat some mammy also.
Some hermetic mammy.
Yeah.
Some hermetic mammy and some
But what is the
Viksin
fun part also with the Heroic is that they have a new lineup here, so can't wait to see what they can bring on. Like they bring Tesses and Nico in, so
Yeah,
that could
and
be actually kind of interesting to see.
and Cadian is there too, and Cadian has seen it all, so to speak.
Yeah, that's true.
It's actually like when you look at the lineups of the teams, there's quite a lot of experience in Elisa Invitational. The teams might not be the best of tier 1, but there's a lot of experience and there's a lot of interesting individuals and lineups. But from Finnish perspective, I would say it's very interesting because you have ENCE playing with Jamppi, and then you have KOVA trying to beat Heroic and North, and then Nordavind. Obviously, it would be absolutely insane if KOVA can win, like, let's say they win 2 best of ones and they get to, like,
Well, they only need to win one in best case scenario. So
Yeah. But even if they win 2 and then they get a better seeding for playoffs and whatnot. I mean,
sure.
Interesting times.
And of course we have GODSENT. We shouldn't forget that too.
Yeah, with Jesse Zen linjalla.
Yes. Yeah, that's a wild card. GODSENT has been looking very good lately, and I have followed their trip from bottom to top, and they are in top 20 right now. So it has been looking very good for them.
Actually,
what
Janne, please.
2 teams do you think will qualify from this? Or let's just put it like this.
Papers it should be GODSENT and Heroic, but
Heroic, yeah, okay.
Sorry, North.
Yeah, okay. I was surprised because my 2 would have been North, or well, it's basically a 3-way for me, which is North, GODSENT, and maybe ENCE. But I think I would leave ENCE for the
against Mouse Sports a few days ago, and they actually won 2-0. So I was a little bit surprised about that, and can't wait to see can they keep that level on.
Sure, it's very difficult to bet on ENCE because if they are having a good day, they can beat anybody. I mean anybody. But if they're having a bad day, you can lose to Hermetic and teams like that. So it's a wild card to say the least. I'm pretty sure ENCE is going to the playoffs. It's unlikely that they are going to lose every best of 1, but it's a wild card. If they're having a bad day, anything can happen.
Yeah, I really feel the same way. I think ENCE, especially with Jamppi, I wouldn't be surprised to see them being amazingly good. But if they suck balls, all right, everything is like normal. Like it's really 50-50.
One team that we haven't really spoken that much about besides Halsberg is the Swedish Retirement Club.
With their grandson, the Norwegian little boy Halsberg.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Freiberg's career was done 4 years ago. I think
it was.
And I'm still not sure if he should be a player. I think he could be a coach. I'm not sure, but we've seen what Dignitas can do with Halsberg before Flashpoint, and they
I actually think
good.
Well, Okay, depends on what level we are talking about. But I think they did do fairly well with Holzer actually before Flashpoint as
Yes,
well.
exactly.
I do agree. I think, they should go to the playoffs, but they really shouldn't stand a chance against teams like North, Godsent, or even ENCE, Heroic maybe as well. That's at least my take on it. I think Dignitas are doing fairly fine. I mean, I'm not expecting anything from this team. I don't think anybody really is, besides somebody living in, 10 years ago. I don't know. It's they have chances though. I'm not gonna say they have no chance to qualify or something. I think they do, but it's gonna be tough.
All right. Tomi, do you want to talk a little bit about Elisa Invitational, like from the behind the scenes kind of stuff? I think Tomi is actually frozen.
Yeah, but can you hear me actually?
Yes,
we can hear you perfectly.
We can
Yeah,
hear you.
that's good. Yeah, my PC is crashing. I don't
We
know.
can only see your thinking face.
I'm thinking then.
Absolutely thinking.
What kind of behind the scenes you want to know?
Anything, please, like your shoe
Some
size.
dirty ones.
Yeah,
Some dirty ones, please.
dirty. Give us some drama. Well, that's a really...
Well, I don't think he wanted to give us a drama. That's for sure.
Oh, he's
That's what
back.
happens.
Okay, I'm back, I guess. Hello?
Hello,
Can you hear
yes.
me?
Hello.
Yes,
Yes,
we
me back. And my camera is back. Yes.
can.
Whoa,
Yes,
nice.
very hermetic.
But
That's...
yeah, you should expect we got a very good show ongoing in the Finnish broadcast. We got a brand new studio here, and we got a very good talents and analysts like Niklas Lotipros Pehkonen from SG Gaming and Lex Lauri. I don't remember his last name.
Vanhanen.
Vanhanen, thanks. Yeah, from Veto Esports. So they're gonna be awesome analysts here, and me and Galetsky casting the games, and yeah, could be. We're gonna have long days here, like 6 best of 1 games Thursday and Friday. So it's gonna be fun and a lot of Counter Strike upcoming.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's actually,
So-
it starts on Thursday and it ends on Sunday.
Yeah, so it's gonna be 4 days Counter Strike.
The big question mark is: are you going to have a hermetic mustache competition between Lotipros and Ninlex? Because they have very,
There could be actually.
very,
I'm
very
not sure
nice.
about.
And are you going to take part of it?
Can you see those?
your
The megapixels are not enough. But anyway,
you've seen the quarantine beard of Valtteri Palokorpi, Mr. Waldman.
I have same kind of that. But yeah, it's gonna be 4 days of some Counter Strike, and
I
you
love
can
the
see
fact
it's
that
free from Elisa Esports and Elisa Viihdes. So.
nice, only a little bit of sellout. I love the
Nah,
fact
not
that
at
Arttu has his like hands on his laps. Whenever he's laughing, it looks like he's masturbating.
Wow.
wow, it actually looks like that.
Yeah, I know.
Who said I'm not? I'm really enjoying this.
Hey, I'm not
podcast.
judging. I'm just pointing out, certain observations. So everybody loves Brazil. Some people from different reasons. At the moment, we love it because of Counter-Strike. ESL 1 Road to Rio Europe is going on. We have a Finnish team and 2 Finnish players in 2 different organizations. So in Group A we have ENCE, and in Group B we have Jesse Zen Linjala in GODSENT and Mr. Otto ND Sihvo in Contact. First question: have you been able to watch the ENCE's games or Contact and or GODSENT so far?
Me actually no, because I have been working so much lately, so I have missed actually both of those games. But well, the start was good, but the game against Hermetics, as I say, it was a slow. The game that you shouldn't lose, especially 2-0. And how many rounds did they get?
11.
In 2 maps. 11 rounds in 2
11
maps
in 2 rounds.
against a team like Hermetics. It's unfortunately, and well, if you look at Group B, well, the most surprising thing is that Mouse Esports is actually in the 8th place right now. They have lost both games, and Movistar Riders they have a 2-0 record at the moment and 6 points. So it's a group of surprises.
Movistar Raiders 2-0 Mousesports, and that's a bit of a what the
Yeah.
fuck is going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny to
online.
yeah, we have been watching Home Sweet Home, which is like a tier 3 tournament, I would say. And Movistar Riders have been like the worst team in that tournament.
Maybe they
Into
have some
both weeks.
some strats to rotary.
Yeah, they were saving some strats for sure because I don't know. This is actually crazy. Like Group B is absolutely fucking upside down. I have no idea what's going.
But that is the things what becomes when we play online. One
For sure.
team can be good and one team can be bad, and that could change in one day. But when you go to LAN, it's so different. And that is the thing why I hate online CS, because you don't ever know what's gonna happen. But at the same time, you're gonna love it.
I think it's the beauty of online CS that anything can happen. Like you kind of need to be prepared for anything and everything, and you get to this point where Mousesports, which still arguably has the potential to be a top 5 team in the world, loses to Movistar Raiders.
And they are.
Yeah, they are. And they lose to Movistar Raiders 2-0. It's not a best of 1, it's a best of 3, and it's not like the map picks were bad.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like kind of these wake up calls on what the fuck is happening. But I kind of like it. I think it's amazing.
Well, you are
I
a
agree.
sick fuck.
I agree.
A masochist, maybe. No, but I think there's something interesting to it. We have seen a lot of surprises in everything that's been online CS the last month. But like if we look at ESL Pro League, for an example, I think we saw a lot of upsets. We saw a lot of really strange results. But we still ended basically with like phase 2 in ESL Pro League being the 6th best teams in the world, or from Europe. And we also saw, there is some consistency, even though we see a lot of really, really strange results mixed in. But the good teams still, they are the ones after 5 to 10 games, they do show that they are actually better most of the time.
Yeah, but if you look at the groups, you have 8 teams in both groups, and only half of them are going to the playoffs. So it means that the start right now in the Group A, we have Heretics with 6 points, and Group B, we have Movistar Riders. We have them at 6 points right now. Copenhagen Flames, actually, they have won their first game, and they have 3 points at the moment. So it makes the groups very, very interesting, because most likely some of the good teams are not going through the playoffs.
But Copenhagen Flames won Contact Gaming, so it's not even a surprise.
It's not a surprise?
It's not a surprise.
For me it is.
Because you're a fan of Otto.
Yes.
But
Otto God.
But then again, Contact is higher ranked than Copenhagen Flames. And I do think that...
But that team is some kind of rip-off. They should change something. It's not working.
Yeah, true. But, I mean, even still, you can say that even in Group A, you have NIP leading the group and Hermetics as second. So both of the groups are upside down, kind of. I mean, the fact that
I don't know if NIP being number 1 is upside down, but
okay, yeah, sorry, not NIP.
Maybe Hermetic, but Heretics has been really good.
Infested.
What have we done?
It's all falling apart, boys.
But the fact that ENCE 2-0's Fnatic, it's a fucking upset, no matter how you look.
It is, but my point is this, and I really believe this will happen. I still believe, of course, there's gonna be like maybe one team who's an upset going through to the playoffs, but I really think that at the end of the day, we'll end up with the teams we expect in the top, and there were lesser teams further down. Like I really think this will play out a little bit like ESL Pro League, even though we see an upset here or there. But who knows? It makes it interesting. I actually agree with that. So maybe I'm turning into Teemu and I think I'm a fucking masochist, but it's a little bit fun at least.
It makes the groups interesting. You know, the start has been very, very, upside down. If you look at the, for example, Group B, Mouse Esports 0-2 to 2 at the moment, and it makes it very interesting.
Yes, I hate the fact that Janne always kills a good laugh with facts, but that's what he does. But I'm seriously hoping that.
Welcome to my life when I live with Galet.
Yeah, as we say it in Finland, faktoittaja.
Yes.
So now we have kind of overviewed this shit. Let's not talk about facts. It's fucking boring. Let's talk about experiences. Esports is special in the way that it provides experiences without physical boundaries. Traditional sports, if you want to play ice hockey, you need to have arms and legs, right? You can still play video games even if you don't have. We've seen that happen.
I sorry, but I just have to get it in there. If you have both no legs and arms, it is going to be fucking hard, man.
But it's still possible.
I want to hear where this is going. Actually,
I mean, you can literally play ice hockey without arms and legs too, if that's the case.
Janne,
I'm just saying.
Shut up.
Just keep on talking. I want to hear this. Yeah.
Okay.
So no, this comes from a video where I saw a 5-year-old kid who doesn't have arms or legs, and he's playing PlayStation by using his chin on the controller. And then when you have these like people going through hard times who are, let's say, very heavily depressed, they found their sanctuary in esports because you can still stream without showing your face. You can just interact with people with your microphone, and you can create this kind of bubble where you can survive. And a lot of great esports athletes that we have today, Kenny S, for example. Then we have Natu in Finland. All of these guys have found, these two especially have found Counter-Strike as their savior, as their sanctuary after a heavy loss or strategic times in their life. And then we get to a point where esports provides experiences through really hard times, and it provides shelter almost, because you can be completely anonymous, you can hide your identity and still interact with people and stay in connect with the world. This is a very broad and vast kind of build-up, but you as casters, you're entertainers. You provide experiences to people, and esports being new, but it's accessible by every single person in the world who has a mobile phone and an internet connection. What are the kind of biggest moments for yourself as entertainers? Is it a message, a private message in Twitter that someone tells you that you made their day, or is it a moment when you've been casting in your booth, when you're living a moment with a team? Like, for example, when OG won their first TI, you were going absolutely nuts in the studio, Olvari. So these kind of things, what are the biggest experiences for you personally that you've gained and that you've been able to provide?
Well, 2018 international was of course a big moment for me and for everybody in Finnish Dota 2 scene. But I think the biggest moment for me was a year earlier, 2017, the international. Lasse Matumpaman Urpalainen, I know him personally. He's a very humble and very honest man. He's keeping his feet on the ground. He's, how can I say, example of a good person. So him, succeeding and winning the international, going all the way through the lower bracket to the finals and beating, was it LGD then? I think, I'm not sure anymore. it's a long time ago. But 2017, the international, it was a long week for us. It was very, very, mentally and physically very hard week. But after the last final game, I cried a little bit because it felt so good for Lasse, and it actually makes me having goosebumps again. But it was a big moment for me and a big moment for Finland. It was the first TI win for Finland, and I think so far it was the biggest moment for me.
I have heard that when Team Liquid and Matumbaman won that year, I have heard that line so fucking many times. It was in one advertising us.
yeah, actually, yeah. But well, after that, I have had so many great moments with Finnish esports. But if I have to pick one, it is that.
All right, that's a beautiful story, and thank you, Tomi. I'll pass the ball to you now.
That was actually bad questions because I haven't received any kind of like "you changed my life" message. I got a good feedback from people, and I love that. But like, biggest things was that first cast on Yle when ES1 Cologne were in 2018. So then I realized how many people watched that, and there wasn't people from esports, and they sent message, "Oh, you are doing good," and so that is the most thing what I remember. And of course, like Katowice minors when ENCE qualified majors, that was awesome. Or like ENCE won Blast Pro Madrid, I guess that was awesome also. I have a lot of. I don't know which one is the best one,
But
I
when you are
love it.
talking, about messages from the viewers,
Yeah.
the messages and good feedback, they cannot help you pay the bills, but they make you feel so good.
Yeah. And
I
I don't care about if someone said you are so shit. But if you get if someone can say why I'm shit, so then I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
It's part of our job.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are dumpsters.
Yeah. Like always.
but that's kind of like one of those things that in life generally, I think that we're missing a lot is the positivity. We forget to kind of preach the positive. We're really quick and easy to criticize, but we forget to praise the good work when it's time for that. I like to think that I let my guys know that they're doing a good job when there's time for that. Obviously, Janne might have differing opinions about that. But
Well, hey, I'll put it in there once again. I'm on my third beer on a Tuesday morning. It's all good, man. Don't worry.
It's fine. It's
Could
fine.
be worse. Could be worse.
Yeah, I didn't get fired after 1 year of this bullshit, so it's
payday is on. Wait, when is it?
I just realized Thursday is
Thursday.
supposed to be payday.
So behave yourself, old man. So we are now coming to the end of an hour. First of all, I want to say the biggest thank you for both of you. I know that your schedules are very tight, so I appreciate the fact that you took the time and came here to talk with us. It's been great for me. I hope the viewers have enjoyed it too. I think Janne wants to say something before the end, but before that, before we close this, any final words from either of you, Arttu and Tomi?
Any final words? That sounds quite bad, but it has been an honor to be here, and I think we had a good talk. Good talk.
Yeah. Good talk. Thanks for invite and come to say watch some Elisa Invitational actions on Thursday.
That we will
Nice sellout,
definitely
bro.
do. Nice sellout.
That's why I'm here, because I told my boss like, okay, I'm gonna book some Elisa Invitational, so now I got time to be here. So
Greetings to Teemu if you're watching.
yeah.
All right, Janne.
Well, so I didn't really have anything to say, but I guess I'll come up with something. And Just want to thank you. It's been really fun. I also just hope that in the future we get some more Mulu English because, hey, those streams. It's just I love it. Maybe I might be a little bit sick. I like everybody who's doing something. I used to love Raheem or whatever. He got a lot of shit. The caster, the funny caster. A lot of people don't think he's funny. I did. I'll be honest and say so. I like the casts, so hopefully we'll see it in the future. Other than that, thank you for joining. It's been a lot of fun to hear from you guys. So
Thanks.
And now, before we go offline, I'm gonna do a small sellout. Tomorrow we have Mr. Riku Mikko T Panda Kangasmäki, a bilingual Dota 2 caster, and we have Mr. Melchior Celery Hillenkamp from Viking GG. We go live at the same time, so for the Finnish people watching, it's 1 p.m., it's 12 p.m. CET, and the rest of you can count your time zones from that. One more time, Arttu and Tomi, million thanks for joining us. It's been great. Thank you for everybody who's been watching, for those who have followed and done other stuff during the stream. It's been super fun. With that said, it's time for us to say thank you, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Ciao, ciao.
goodbye.